Hello all and good day to you. Roger here with Groovis Games Unlimited, the creator of Dungeon Crusade, and I hope everyone is doing fantastic today. It's very nice to be back here with you for our next video in the Spotlight video series. And I thought I'd change it up a bit for you today. We'll be looking at one of the other 4 dungeon boards in the game, Castle Blackwood. As always, I want to thank you for your interest and time in checking out Dungeon Crusade, and I hope you're enjoying the Spotlight series on the game. And of course, I hope you're getting more acclimated to it. It's always nice to hang out with you for a bit, discuss the game with you, and see how you are doing. As I have been saying, we are on the cusp of going into mass production with the game, directly following the promotional phase of Dungeon Crusade. And of course, there are more videos on the way for you to enjoy. There is an active pledge manager for the game, and I left a link for you in the description section if you would like to see the 3 editions of Dungeon Crusade available and a few add-ons being offered at this time. I meant to say this in the last video, but the pledge manager will be shut down at the very end of the month, but there are no worries right now as it will remain open for the weeks to come. We'll be giving plenty of reminders every so often so you're always kept in the loop. In the prior video, we were going over the upkeep phase, which is the first phase at the start of a churn. So now, we'll be going over the encounter phase that follows directly after the upkeep phase. Also, I tried to make this video spoiler-free for you. We took the time to blur out some of the encounter text to keep it a surprise for you. But let your mind wander a bit by some of the pieces of art that you'll be seeing that is associated with the different types of encounters your heroes will be facing. Before we get into the encounter phase, I took the time to make a few small videos for you just to kind of give you a taste of some other things in the game. So we're going to be taking a look at those here in just a few moments. Okay, the first video here is going to be a look at the village board, and we can see this is the bazaar. All potions and torches are 100 gold. So we're looking at the blacksmith shop. There's a common item there for you, the full helm. There's an uncommon, baneful armor. There's a rare piece of gear, Helm of the Destroyer, an epic piece of gear, Axe of the Black Hand, and finally a legendary bow, Bow of Angelic Fury. There is 193 unique pieces of loot in Dungeon Crusade. We had touched on mining in a prior video, so one of our heroes have mined and they have found a piece of ruby stone. And ruby stone is one of the 6 precious stones in the game and is needed to craft power gems. We can see here our paladin hero Carrick is opening a treasure chest, the ultimate in risk and reward. There is some huge treasure amounts, there are some long lost artifacts, but there's some nasty stuff in the treasure chest deck. I'll be doing a spotlight video just on the treasure chest deck so we can talk about the ultimate in risk and reward. Here we can see our battle mage hero Lyrena has stumbled upon a trap, and we'll reveal it, and she has triggered a trap. Traps are randomly generated each game, so we're going to come over here to the trap deck and draw a card. And this particular one is Lair of the Shadow Dweller, and there are 17 unique traps in the game. And here we can see this is the battle chart that you use for the unique combat system in Dungeon Crusade. Here I'm shuffling up the 3 warfare tokens, and then you reveal them. And then there's things called battle tokens that you place those on heroes' weapons on what phase they're going to be attacking in. So in this one we can see a hero is going to be defending in phase 1 and attacking in phase 2 and 3. And those of course are the warfare dice. And I wanted to throw this next video in here for you. You know, what was paramount in creating Dungeon Crusade is true party building. And that's something I think that is lacking in a lot of these games. So Mahelic, our barbarian, is doing a rally call. And he is rallying Zeke, our wizard, to storm into the chamber with him. And they are going to be combating a level 3 champion monster. Now, monsters in the game are randomly generated, so you'll never know what level 3 monster's in the chamber. So we're going over here, and I just drop it on there to show you. So we're going to draw the card. And there's normal versions and elites. They've encountered an elite version of the Fallen King. And watch out for his special ability, Hand of the Sovereign. Very nasty. Okay, let's get going with this. First off, Dungeon Crusade comes with 88 unique encounter cards. Also, each encounter card has a unique piece of art on it. I didn't want to just have text on the cards. I wanted to give the player some type of visual to make it more thematic and immersive for them. Let's start with what you do in the encounter phase. And then I would like to give you some insight into this game mechanic and tell you a little more about it. And please know, the encounter deck is not something that is bad all the time. There are some encounter cards that will benefit a hero or heroes in a significant way. Quite simply, at the start of the encounter phase, you're going to draw the top card of the encounter deck and see what's presently transpiring in the dungeon. You're going to discover there are 4 unique categories in the encounter deck. Your heroes could experience an event. There are good events and there are some bad events. There are environment cards. These type of cards could change something within the dungeon. Sometimes it's in the hero's favor, sometimes it's not. For challenges, you'll be able to select a particular hero in an attempt to overcome whatever the challenge may be. And finally, there are interlude cards. But let's go over the 4 types of encounters. With events, most of the time you'll be selecting a hero at random for whatever the event may be. There are good events and some adverse events. Then there are environment cards. These will change some aspects of the game. For example, monsters could grow a bit more fierce while a specific environment is in effect. Sometimes there will be an environment that will benefit the heroes in some way. Next are challenges. There are many different types of challenges within the encounter deck. With these, a player may select a hero who will attempt the challenge. The interlude cards are basically a breather, if you will. Nothing will transpire when an interlude card is drawn. These throttle the encounter deck a bit and help the pace of the game. You'll discover some thematic flavor text on all of the interlude cards. Lastly, one of the great things about the encounter deck is it is randomly generated each time, so you'll never see the same encounter deck. Let me explain to you how the encounter deck is created. First, take the encounter deck and remove the 10 interlude cards and set them aside. Next, shuffle the remaining encounter deck and deal out 30 face down. Then take the 10 interlude cards and combine them with the 30 encounter cards. You've now created the encounter deck for the game. As a side note, a new encounter deck is created after each celebration day, and just like everything else in Dungeon Crusade, you'll never see the same encounter deck twice. It's always randomly generated. Lastly, keep in mind the encounter deck is, in a sense, a timer. If the encounter deck ever runs out, a player must do the following. The minion population goes up by 1. A player must move the red marker token on the minion population track up by 1. As the heroes are taking their time in the dungeon, more of the monsters and creatures deep in the dungeon become aware of their presence and grow in numbers. Also, the terror track goes up by 1. If the heroes are taking too long, it worries the villagers. They begin to second guess the heroes, worry that they have perished, etc. All of this does not sit well with scared and unsure villagers. Thus, the terror level is increased by 1. A nuke encounter deck must be prepared following the same procedure I aforementioned. Okay all, this concludes this spotlight video on the encounter phase of a turn, and I hope you really enjoyed that. I have to tell you that creating the different encounters in the game was genuinely one of my most favorite things to do in developing Dungeon Crusade. I got pretty creative and imaginative in many of the encounters that your heroes will experience, so I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by many of the encounters. The next phase we'll be looking at is the Guardian phase. This is when there is a possibility of a Guardian spawning into the dungeon. We'll also be taking a look at the 8 Guardians in the game and the Guardian spawn track. I want to thank you for your time and interest in Dungeon Crusade and all of your nice comments. It's always nice to chat with you, to see what you're up to, and chat more about the game. I'm working quickly to get back here with you so we can go over more of the game together. I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye.